Yeah, well, I've been taking BPC-157 for about going on 3 years. I mean, give or take a few months, but whatever. We're going to call it 3 years. Honestly, it's been great, but we'll get into the details. But of course, you do realize I'm not a doctor. This isn't really medical advice. I'm just telling you what I did, why I did it, and what the results are. What brought me into the situation to even need to be using something that's not FDA approved was had a workout. We were doing sprints, and usually I don't sprint, but rare occasion where I actually followed directions, I sprinted and went fast, but tore up my knee pretty bad. Swelled up. It was like the size of a cantaloupe. Uh, Everybody noticed. In typical guy fashion, I resisted going to the doctor for 2, 3 weeks probably before I finally went to a rapid med. They x-rayed it. Didn't see anything wrong, but they're like, yeah, there's something wrong here. It's not supposed to be that big. After a couple of weeks, by the way. So they sent me off for an MRI, and the radiologist took a look and said, yeah, that's a torn degenerative meniscus. That was the official diagnosis. So they sent me off to my ortho. Dude had already fixed my shoulder. I'm a walking disaster. What can I tell you? Anyway, he looked at it and he said it looked like a shark attack. Lovely. And that I was a candidate for knee replacement. That's not good, as you can imagine. And, kind of the things that I was looking at this point. Running, yeah, I suppose you can run, but it's going to hurt. Same with jumping. Back squats, yeah, doing squatting movements was doable, but you still, it's in your mind, and getting heavy, loading up really heavy with that on your mind gets kind of scary. And I run into plenty of people at the gym who make comments about their knees being shot and they don't squat below parallel anymore and yada, yada, yada. And oh, yeah, by the way, consequence of a torn degenerative meniscus is knee replacement surgery. That's the situation I was looking at, and I didn't like it. Did not like the idea of knee replacement, even though I did some research. The search I did was, could I play football after full knee replacement? The answer surprisingly was yes, but it's not recommended. On the other hand, I don't think they recommend you play football to begin with. And I'm talking American football where they tackle each other and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, they're apparently at different points in the league's history have been players playing with full knee replacements. So we have that. Additionally, a power lifter actually hit a lifetime PR after knee replacement surgery. So it's not all bad, but still don't want that. So I looked into every alternative available. There are artificial meniscuses, but they're not ready for prime time. In this case, I'll let somebody else be the lab rat. Gel injections. Well, first, before that, cortisone injections. I read up on it, wasted time. Yes, it gives you some pain relief for a little while, very little while, reduces swelling, stuff like that, but does nothing to heal you. A gel injection, for me, would last about a year. Other people, much shorter, down to, I read, some people little as 8 weeks. But for me, didn't hurt, seemed to work great, and because of insurance, really didn't cost me much. But it doesn't really fix it. The hyaluronic acid, or however you pronounce it, basically just fills in the cracks in your knee and puts some additional padding in there so that things don't hurt so bad, and helps reduce swelling. All good stuff, but it doesn't fix the problem. You're going to keep doing them over and over. Also, with all of this, I should mention, I started doing PT. Squat University has plenty of content around what you should do to help strengthen your knees. And I probably should put this later in the video, and I probably will. You want to strengthen, the muscles around your knee to help support it better, because the meniscus isn't doing its job anymore. So your muscles are going to have to start stepping in to protect it. So those are the consequences and the reason I came to use BPC-157. the solution, which you already know what it's going to be, is BPC-157. The way it came about was I was at a normie gym. I was warming up, listening to a Huberman podcast about peptides. At this point, I'd heard of peptides, but really I knew nothing about them. Oddly enough, until recently, I really didn't know that much. But regardless, I'm listening to Huberman, and they get to TB500 and BPC-157, and I'm listening. I'm like, holy mackerel. This is tailor-made for my situation. This is perfect. Why has nobody said anything about these things? Rare occasion, I actually followed Huberman's directions. I found a doctor, talked to them, and I brought up BPC-157 and TB500. The doctor said the TB500 in my situation wasn't really going to help a whole lot. It just needed BPC-157. So that's what he prescribed to me. The protocol that he used was 2 1 milligram injections a day for like the first 2 weeks, and then 1 milligram a day for the next 2 weeks. So 4 weeks. And then after that, as needed. So that's what we did. The as needed part, well, there's more to the story here, is that around this time is when the FDA rescheduled all the peptides. So the compounding pharmacy my doctor was using could no longer make the peptide, or could no longer give me BPC-157. And so I was at the end, we were done. My knee felt great. After those 4 weeks, I felt wonderful. Mission accomplished, right? I did go off for probably a month or two. And again, source was cut off from me. But I had watched another YouTube video. Andrew Hiller was talking about BPC-157. And by this point, I'd watched a ton of content around BPC-157. Hiller, was talking about this place that they've changed names since then. I would not go back to them. I tried them, didn't feel a thing. The stuff I got from the compounding pharmacy, maybe placebo, is whenever I injected it, I knew I was getting something. The stuff that I got from this other place did nothing for me. I found 2 other places. First place I found was actually local to me, and I use them today. It's like ordering from Amazon Prime. If I placed an order today, it's Monday while I'm shooting this, I'd have my peptides the next day, literally, as long as it's in the morning. But you get the idea. It's like Amazon Prime. It's wonderful. The other place, they're in Oregon, I think, and they ship FedEx too. So, it's close to Amazon Prime, 3 days maybe. Anyway, those 2 places I started ordering from. First place, the local place that I was ordering from, they had some credit card problems, which is pretty common with research use only vendors. They have a constant battle with their payment processors, which is why I tried the other place. They were also great. In hindsight, it's hilarious. I knew nothing about certificates of analysis or anything. I got so freaking lucky, except for the first place I tried. Not that they got me sick or anything, but as far as I could tell, or for what I could tell, I was just shooting saline solution or bacteriostatic water into myself. So never went back. The other 2 places, 3 years later, I'm still ordering from them. I order a lot from them. The protocol I now am using is I will do 1 milligram shot 3 times a week. So Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday is my shot sequence. And if you look at my channel, please do. You'll see that I use plenty of peptides at this point. BPC-157, I swear up and down, is the ultimate gateway peptide. And more than likely, you'll be on it for the rest of your life, or you'll use it for the rest of your life. You don't have to, but you'll want it around, because right now, hit the microphone. Right now I injured my shoulder, screwing around, doing something I shouldn't have done. And so I repeated the protocol that the doctor gave me. Shoulder's all better. I'm being very cautious rebuilding, but I'm all better. 3 weeks, we're good to go. A friend of mine asked me, they have injured their knee, and they're like, hey, how long until you started running again? And I hate talking. We're in the middle of a workout when this question was brought to me. It's like, I'm trying to work out here. And so I just said 3 years. because honestly, I had an excuse not to run. And, in CrossFit, you'll substitute the assault bike or echo bike, rowing, skiing for runs. And in my opinion, you get as good, if not better, of a workout that way versus running and at a lower impact. However, I could have started running after I had finished the doctor's initial protocol. The issue, though, why I chose not to was the reason I got injured is I run like an epileptic basset hound, is probably the best description of my running form. So until I had taken the time to start working on my running form so I don't heel strike and I do things so that I don't re-injure myself, it made no sense to run. So that was why I answered as I did, is 3 years. No, the BPC had already fixed it. And it's also, how long do you take it? It's like, well, I'll probably use it the rest of my life. Because, like I said, you're going to injure yourself. You should work out. You should work out smart, but statistics. If something can happen, it will happen eventually. And so having the tools in your tool belt, which besides peptides, you should learn about physical therapy, learn the techniques, get a good physical therapist. I've got two that I have access to. I'm an ortho. And, learn, take the time. YouTube, right here. You have the most awesome resource available to you. So the peptides by themselves will help you. And to a degree, they're a shortcut. They'll shorten up, something using BPC-157 and TB500 will shorten the recovery time. Instead of taking 6, 8, 9 weeks to recover from a moderate injury, all of a sudden you're looking at 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks before you can get back into the game, which is wonderful. But you need to be educating yourself and using other tools in addition to just a peptide. That's where I'm at right now. Oh, again, the protocol, like I said, I'm shooting 3 milligrams a week, and one 10 milligram vial is good for 3 weeks plus one shot, right? And what I'll do is when I use up that vial, I will take a week off before I reconstitute another one. You may hear about like Wolverine stack. Well, why don't I use this? Wolverine stack, for the phase that I'm in, where I'm just using this stuff as maintenance, that the Wolverine stack, is BPC-157 and TB500 in one vial together, 50-50. Problem is, BPC-157 and TB500 have different dosing strategies and different cycles from each other. And so, their half-lives are different. They go together, absolutely. If you're dealing with an injury, buy them separately and use the correct dose. I've never really used TB500, so I can't tell you what dose to use. What I can tell you is 1 milligram is the minimum dose you should use for BPC-157. Talk to a doctor, but my experience, 1 milligram is the bottom end. The people that I've talked to and stuff I see on X, where people say, yeah, I used it, it did nothing for me. And almost every single case, they were using like 0.25 milligrams or 0.5 milligrams. Complete waste of money, waste of time. Unless, like I said, you're in my mode where it's just, hey, I'm just doing this maintenance stuff because, hey, I'm working out and muscle soreness and just I want to be able to keep working out and going hard. Then a Wolverine stack blend is fine. But when you do something silly, as I do, you'll want them separate. And I'd say a lot of the time with a joint, like a shoulder, a knee, hip, BPC-157 by itself will probably take care of the job for you. Again, I highly recommend getting diagnosed by a doctor. And if the doctor happens to do peptides, even better. But your normal doctor, can probably talk you through, okay, this is what you've got. And depending upon how cool they are, you may be able to bring up, hey, I'm going to use this stuff. How do you think I should use it? I do think you should have that conversation, perhaps off the record, so that it doesn't go in your medical records where your insurance company sees it, because no idea what insurance is going to do with this stuff. Of course, now I've got all this YouTube stuff. Ooh, oh well. Anyway, I think I've talked long enough. I mean, I hope I've helped you. Again, just over and over. Talk to a doctor. Find yourself a doctor who knows peptides. There's channels here. I highly recommend Dr. Alex Tatum and Dr. Frazee. Her channel is This Is Not Covered. Those two are awesome. There's plenty of others. Just do the searches. And I hope you'll watch my stuff. But like I said, you're just finding out my experience. I'm not a doctor, but I'm happy to tell you what I've done and what the outcome is. And there's some peptides I think are a waste of time, and some I think are wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to wish you a good evening, and hope to see you around later. Bye.